Hey everybody, this is Larry. This is day 11 of the July Leetcode Daily Challenge. Hit the like button, subscribe button, join me on Discord. Let me know what you think about today's farm. We've been going hard. It's been fun. We have a hard farm today. Let's see how it goes. 1/3 of the month done. Hope everyone's doing okay. Today I just ran 3 miles. 2 hard, one easy, 1 hard, 2 easy miles. On a treadmill because it's really actually today was pretty nice out relatively, but I don't know, I just kind of was at the gym and had to kind of squeeze in a couple miles in the timing. But yeah, remember, you can overtrain, you can overdo things, in the sense that this is, for me anyway, this is week 2 of an 18-week training plan. So you're trying to pace yourself. Remember, it's a marathon, not necessarily a race. So let's keep a sprint, I think is the saying. Oops. Either way. So yeah, today let's take a look at today's farm. We have a hard farm with 2402 meeting rooms 3. Alright, you're given an integer and rooms from 0 to n-1. You're given 2 integer array meetings where meeting sub I is equal to start sub I to end sub I. Meaning that a meeting will be held during the half closed time interval start sub I, end sub I. All the values of start sub I are unique. Meetings are allocated to rooms in the following manner. Okay. Each meeting will take the unused room the lowest number. Okay. If there are no available rooms, the meeting will be delayed until a room becomes free. Makes sense. The delay duration should have the same duration as the original meeting. When a room becomes unused, meeting to have an earlier original start time should be given the room. Okay. Okay. I mean, I think the words make sense. I don't think I interpret them correctly yet. Let's take a look at an example though. Okay, so you have these meetings at time 0. We only have 2 rooms. Both rooms are not used. The first meeting starts. Okay. At time 1, only one room is not used. Okay. Room 2, okay, so then it's delayed. Time 3 is delayed, and then time 5 just ends, right? Okay, I mean, it seems like a simulation problem. I think that's mostly it. The only thing that's tricky usually about these, oh, that's weird. Am I misunderstanding? Oh, no. I was like, it's still weird, right? And it's equal to 100. So what am I thinking wrong? Huh? Because I was thinking like, oh, it probably is some like n log n type thing. And I mean, honestly, without looking at the constraint, and I haven't thought through the problem yet, so maybe I'm wrong about it anyway. But I originally thought that this was going to be like an n is equal to... oh, wait. Okay, yeah. No, I'm okay. I misspoke. I am actually right, but n is not... n in this case is just the number of rooms when I thought it was the number of meetings. I thought there was going to be like 10 to the 5th number of meetings or something like that, and I was right. And it was going to be one of those things where you have, let's just say m. If you try to do an m square, it'll be too slow, so you try to do an m log m or something like that. I don't know why there's only 100 rooms though. That part is a little bit, I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out. But still, it's gonna be simulation if I have to guess. But the thing with simulation is that you just kind of do what they tell you. But it also often becomes a data structure problem, right? Because can you do what they tell you, but in an efficient way? And we'll figure it out, right? I think when you're starting out, when you're kind of playing around with optimizations or quote-unquote optimizations, sometimes it makes, like if you know what you want to do, then maybe it's good to move ahead to that, correct or not. But if you don't have any idea, it's okay to kind of implement the m square solution, right? Like here you have m meetings, implement m square or m times n, or maybe m times n is fast anyway, or something like that, and then see what you can do to optimize it. Or maybe go to Discord and ask someone to be like, okay, I know I'm stuck. I know this is too slow. How can I optimize it? Don't ask it like, why does this tell you? Right? Or, you can figure out why it TLUs. But yeah, I'm going to rename this rooms instead of n. It's really confusing. Okay, and then I say n is equal to the number of meetings. Right? Okay. So then now what do we have, right? So there's one thing where we always get the lowest available number of rooms, and for that I like using it's not quite this, but it is this idea of always just getting the smallest available thing. And there are 2 things you can use for this, right? 2 general things. I mean, that's the same idea anyway, but one is the heap and the other is a sorted list or something like that, right? Yeah, and then in here, I think a heap is fine, because yeah, so then you have maybe like 3 rooms, and as you go to q.hipify x for x in range of n, right? And we're only doing 100 items, so oh man, I already messed up. Sorry. To rooms, right? And we're only doing 100 items, so we don't have to worry about that much, right? Number of the room that held the most meetings. Okay. So we do have to keep track also of room count. So maybe we just have like counts as you go to 0 times rooms, right? So these 2 things. Yeah, is that the only thing we need for rooms? Yeah, maybe for now, right? Because basically these 2 data structure allows you to answer 2 things, right? One, how many times a room has been used or for a meeting or whatever. And then 2 is give me the lowest number unused room, right? Maybe this could be unused. Maybe that's a little bit cleaner. Or I don't know if it's a little bit cleaner, but it matches what they tell you. That's why it's a little bit, I don't know. It's not a big deal, honestly. As long as you remember, it's not a big deal. For me, I like to keep it consistent because sometimes I just forget. And I don't always do this even. So it's not, I don't know if it's a hard and fast rule or whatever. Okay, so then now we set up the rooms. Okay, so then now we have to do meetings. Are the meetings already sorted? It does not seem like it. So we should sort the meetings, right? And we also probably have to keep track of. So if we were able to throw away meetings, say, then we can just scan through it. But I think here we have to kind of, the delay thing is a little bit awkward. What's the delay thing? Or maybe it's just here. When a room becomes unused, meetings have it. I gotta remember to. If you watched it yesterday, I have like to take a medication. I just set the timer for now to take the medication, but I always forget. Maybe I should have just done it before the stream, but in any case, it'll remind me again in 10 minutes, or 9 minutes or whatever this that snooze button does. But anyway, my apologies for the interruption. But okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah. We do have to keep track of, okay, so the meetings are delayed, one becomes free, the delay means has the same duration. If it becomes a use, we do earlier start time, right? So yeah, so we have to do an earlier start time, and that should be fine. That means that we always want to do an earlier start time, which is another min thing, so we probably want another heap at some point. For now, at least the way that I like to write it, I just kind of, because I don't know how I want to structure the heap, but so I don't like to pre-write things where I don't quite know exactly. But you can imagine this is a heap, like delayed meetings or something like that, and we'll figure it out maybe, right? And then now, yeah, and then I also don't like to. I know some people do, and then they do some greedy things where they sort the meetings and then kind of just do like go from left to right. I actually don't. I like to separate the start events and end events, or maybe not separate, but put them together in a different way. So I like to have something like this. Okay, actually, I was going to write something like this. I mean, no, I did, in fact. But I was like, I remember saying something about unique. That's why I had to double check the constraint. All of starts of I is unique, so that means that we do not need this, right? We can just use a map. Oh, I guess end points are not. Okay, fine. Maybe we still need this. Just depending on how you want to do it. Yeah. And then now, oh, maybe event should be a heap. How do I want to write it? Maybe it should be a heap, right? So event is a heap, and the reason why is because we want to insert stuff into it. And you can also have a separate heap. I think it's time. So for start time, end time in meetings, we want to add events, the 2 events. One is the starting event, and maybe we'll use the type as like start. So let's use a quote unquote a enum. Right? I don't know. And then event start a pen and a enum of 1. Maybe we want the enums is. In theory, it shouldn't matter, but the sorting maybe matters depending on how you want to handle it. So we might come back to this later, right? And you can also just give these names like start and end, right? So start is equal to 0, and is equal to 1. Maybe we change this, and then we heapify it, right? Oh, actually, no, I lied. I guess you could do it this way. No, but I don't. But this is why I don't want to do it this way. Is because we do want the end to come only after we process the start. And also the end is not a fixed thing, right? In the sense that's why I don't want to do it yet, and that's why we set it as a heap instead of a sorted list or something like that. It's because the end is actually not fixed, and that is not always E, right? What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that because the start is not when it starts, it's just that it is a possible start, right? So you actually need to also store or the duration, right? So maybe the duration, which is E minus S, right? So maybe that's what we'll do. And then now we want to heapify, if I spell correctly, events, right? And then now we can process the events in order. So while length of events is greater than 0, we want to take the and these are all starting events, right? So we have the time, we have the type. That's a little confusing. Also, I don't know if type is a keyword, so that's why it's a. Okay. Usually I use single level, so I don't know. I just say ty for type, which is terrible. Maybe I need a better thing. And then duration, right? Is equal to heap q dot heap pop of events, right? Okay. So then now we just get, if there are rooms available, we take one. And this is where I talk about it's just simulation, because you just, okay, if there are room, we take one, right? Yeah. I mean, yes, but I'm trying to think how do I want to combine delayed in a good way. Actually, I guess that's what we'll do. Maybe instead of delayed, it's just available jobs, right? And then when we process the event, and the key thing is noting that starts by is unique, because otherwise you have to do some like merging and then process them all in the same time kind of thing, because you have to be really more careful. But because start time is unique, and I forgot to check for this, is you go to start, and that means that, okay, we can just put this job or this meeting into available. So then, yeah, this is push. We want to push. We don't care about the time anymore, right? We just care about the duration, right? And that's it. Maybe. I mean, we have to. Well, that's it. Except for we have to put in the. I always forget about this. Yeah. Let me double check. No, I think this is fine. Right. So then now we get to put in the available, right? And then now we probably need to do something with n also. I have to think about. Oh well, n means that we make the room available, but we probably have to do it in a different thing. We'll see what I mean by second. But the way I think about it, I just want to handle start first. And then now we can go, okay, while length of unused is greater than 0, so we have a room available, and length of available is greater than 0, meaning that we have meetings to go to. Then we just, I messed up. I wrote duration, but what we should sort by is the start time, right? So this is T for the time. I mean, this is a duh thing. There's no craziness about it. It's just that we have to sort by the original start time, right? That's what the problem asks you to do. So it's just that I messed up, which happens. I forget. There's a lot of things going on, right? Anyway, but now, and that's just a small change. We just sort by the T, right? Okay. I think I need to keep track of the current time, which is going to be T, I think, which is fine. Yeah, I think T is the current time as well. And I'm making an assumption here in that I know that right now when we do a events heap thing, we go effectively, if you want to think about it as a sweep line, we go from left to right, right? And I do think about these in sweep line. That's how I count the visualization aspect of it. If t is the current time, then and you sweep, then there's a possibility of jumping ahead, which is kind of scary. But the thing that I'm assuming, or that I am going to implement, is that we cannot skip an end event because, well, right now we do, but we have to do something with n. That's fine. So assuming that n will be there, then it will, because what I imagine is that we put stuff back into unused or something, and then that will trigger the event for the availability to also, if there are things available when it is triggered, then we can push it back in. So then, okay. So then now we want to say, well, t is the current time. Let's get a room, right? Okay, and that's easy. You know, room. Yeah, okay, current room maybe. Let's go to this, and then that's it, right? So then we increment. We also pop available, right? And we are with the current time, which is not available. Well, that's just the starting time, and it's only used as tiebreaker, but we don't do it for anything else, right? We only care about the duration. So then here we have duration is equal to hip q dot hip pop of available, right? And available is kind of a terrible name, maybe, but let's just we write this. Available is the current meetings that can take place, right? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so that, and this is t is the current time, remember? So then that means that we want to trigger an end event. So then here, this is where the meet is, which maybe I forget it. In the event, you want to push an end event, and the end event we want it to be the current time plus the duration, and that's it. We want to put type as end type, right? And then maybe some I mean some other thing is going to be the room, right? Because we want to keep, well, because when we free a room, we probably have to free up we have to get something of the room we're freeing. Maybe there's more information we can add to this heap later, but for now I'm a little bit mentally double checking, which is why I'm like in a little bit of a pause. Is this half close time interval thing? What does the half close time interval mean? I think they just, okay, no, they do have an explanation, which is nice. A and B, but not including B. So what that means is that the end event should come before the start event, right? Like given the two events at the same time, the end event should come earlier, because if it's open on the closed side, that means that we want, if there's a room being free at the quote unquote the same time as a meeting is starting, then we want the meeting that is starting to be able to take the room that became available. So as a result, then that means that you have to process your end results first, given the same time, so that it can be available by the start. There are a couple of ways you can do this. Sometimes if you like, depending on how it's set up, you could add this as like +1 or -1 or something like that. But for this one, we can, like we said, just change the enum so that if they're the same, this will come before end will come before start. That is why it's a little bit wonky in pure software engineering things. But in software engineer, like if you're doing this in a software engineer, you like scope versus a problem solving scope, you probably would want like a class or a data structure or an object for handling all these things, and not just like, it should be static and typed and stuff like this, and not this crazy thing that I'm doing here, right? So that's my caveat, in case you're wondering about like code quality and stuff like this, since on my Discord I've been kind of commenting on other people's code quality due to a lot of random programming drama at some point. Anyway, yeah. So then now, and that should be good. When this is true, we keep adding a room, and this really should only, except for at the very beginning, you only get one unused room at a time, right? Because, well, that's not true, I guess, because you can just, they become all free, and then available just piles up afterwards. But I think this should be good, right? And then now we go to the next event, and there's always an end event where we do it, and keep in mind that every meeting will have the beginning and an end. So yeah, so then now do something with end, we have to, well, free up the room, right? And I think that's probably it. So then now, I don't know, I need to figure out like what's a cleaner way to write these kind of things. Maybe you can write something like, I don't know, A, B, C, well, this could be TY, and I guess this is always T actually, so maybe this is fine, except we have C, oops, and then duration is equal to C or something like this, and then free up the room. Well, current room is equal to C, and then we can do what is it? Count. Oh no, we don't do counts, but we do put in right dot heap push unused current room, right? And I think that's it, and that should be enough for the simulation part. I know that we're supposed to return the rooms of the number of most meetings. That's fine, but we can print out the counts first, because sometimes even if you return the right answer, like this may just be wrong, and you're like, okay, well, I just got lucky with the right answer, but yeah, okay, you have to convert this to a list. Like you get lucky with the right answer, but when you actually look at how they calculate it, it's really wrong, and then you're like, okay, well, mistakes were made, right? None type has no. Did I mess up something? Available is an array. Unused is. Oh. Okay. I got the syntax wrong. Because this doesn't return an object. It should be that it is this, and then we do this. It's sorry. Heap syntax is always very weird. But yeah. But here you can see that the point here is that you just have a good thing to check. Even, I mean, we can implement the answer in like 2 lines, it's fine, or 3 lines or whatever. But yeah, room 0 has been visited twice, and room 1 has visited twice as well, right? And then you could just check what they tell you, because sometimes in examples they'll explain it, and then but you could kind of skip ahead to. I mean, you can also, like, if you need to debug, you could debug whether these things happen the way that you wrote them as well, at least for simulation problems, right? But here for me, both 0 and 1 held 2 meetings, which is what we wrote, which is kind of, you know, inducing enough confidence. And then case 2, you have 1, 2, 2, which is room 0 has 1 meeting, room 1 and 2 has 2 meetings, so that gives me more confidence enough. Yeah, and then we just have to write a check, right? So best index is equal to 0, and then we can just write for I in range of, what I call it? Is it no rooms, right? Yeah. Then if counts of best index is less than counts of I, oops, how did that happen? Best index is equal to I. I think that's it, but I actually want to write this instead, because I think that's technically more Pythonic and also just less silly. I was just lazy. I don't know. Yeah, and then that looks okay. So let's give it a quick submit. And there we go. We are Gucci. So the magic is using like 5 heaps or something. We have 1 heap here, 1 heap here, 1 heap here, so 3 heaps. And there's a lot of log, and apparently it is a little bit on the slower side, but what's the complexity, right? For each meeting, we I mean, for each meeting we do a log. I want to say M, even though I used N here, is a little bit awkward. But yeah, we do use log M operations for each one. Maybe there's a log rooms type thing as well, but it's just, yeah. So it's like for each meeting we do 1 push operation and 1 pop, or we'll do 1 from push from available and 1 push from unused, and 2 pop operations. So it's actually going to be M times log. Let me just write it out. It's going to be O of M times in parentheses log N plus log m, right? I guess you could write it in a number of ways. But yeah, that's it. That's the time complexity, and apparently I really need to take some medication. But yeah, I think that's it. I am curious because we're kind of a little bit slow today. Is there a more linear way of doing it? I don't know. Well, I did beat my time from last time, and apparently I've tried this problem 2 other times. I imagine, that was pretty slow too, so I don't know. So I guess that, at least from past Larry, I probably did things mostly the same way. But yeah, this is basically how I would do it, step by step, and that's it. Nothing too tricky. It's just about kind of figure out how to answer your question, or your questions as in your queries that you want to be able to answer at the time you want to do it. And that's it. Yeah, that's all I have for this one. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Stay good, stay healthy, to good mental health. I'll see y'all later and take care. Bye bye.